My energy made the phone fall down. No, I'm kidding. So, I'm here to talk, and I'm here to have a conversation because energetically, I'm aware that there's some kind of manipulation, game, disturbances involving me, my identity, what I'm about. You know, it's like I hear things, I see things that inform me of things before they occur. And then weeks, months later, the thing that I was told, that I saw, that pinged me from whatever realm that exists, lets me know this will happen. You will see it with these patterns. You will see it with these steps. And your job is to see those steps as they happen. And when they do happen the way that you foresaw it, to remove yourself at that point because something bad will happen. And unfortunately, I think it's because I've been doing a lot of work mentally to activate my consciousness in a way that has not been done before with me anyway. And in doing so, I've been resonating an energy that destabilizes others, that makes them view me a certain type of way. And with that type of disturbance that they feel on a soul level, and since they don't have like the language to articulate what's happening to them, they attribute that to me having malice or arrogance or too much confidence or too much pride in myself or too much care about the things that I do, right? And it's like, one, I don't consider myself to be arrogant. However, I don't really consider myself to be humble either, which I'm trying to get to humbleness. Right now, at this point in my life, I'm considering myself valuable and I'm orienting my life in a way that resembles that value that I see in my mind, and I'm not allowing any aspect to circumvent, throw me off course, cut me off from the source. I'm not allowing any of that. I've cut out a lot of habits, and starting today, I'm going to be attempting to cut out THC, weed. You know, I can't guarantee that my first attempt at doing so will be successful, but I can guarantee that I will be successful. That's the thing. You see, my whole life I've been a pessimist. My whole life I've misunderstood the ramifications of what manifestation implies. You know, one thinks that manifestation is the method of bringing something to life by your intentions and thoughts, which is correct, right? But that's not the full story because you don't realize that every word you say, every action you do, every step you take, every belief that you have in your head that you replay to yourself over and over on repeat, those are the things that become reality first. You see, when you believe something so strongly, so deeply, and it resonates within you on a frequency level, the universe aligns itself in the proper way to orient itself around you so that you achieve your goals in tandem. It's not because you're a special person. It's not because you're chosen. It's not because you're the greatest person of all. None of that. It's because you believe. And the thing is about belief, faith, higher power, God, right? That's what it is. It's a belief in God. I believe in God, Christ Almighty, Yahweh, right? When that happens and you fully believe that, like it's in you and it resonates, you go on your knees and you ask him, please give me this energy. When that happens, your reality starts shifting. You start thinking differently. You understand on a very molecular level, soul level, that every word you say, every action you do, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your mind, how you take care of your spirit, that all matters. You can't live the material, physical world within the physical laws and expect to do things beyond the physical means, right? If you're doing everything within one realm, you can only do things within that realm. So that means that if you want to do something extremely impactful with just physical energy, you're going to need to be a fucking nuke. And I'm creative, but I'm not a fucking nuke. So I had to tap into the different levels of power. I was aware that there was only physical, scientific, material power. I didn't realize that there's a bigger power, the power of oneself, the connection to the God within you through the Christ spirit of holiness of Jesus Christ, right? And his blessing through me, through God, through the Holy Spirit, amplifying me through my belief in myself and him and his guidance through my eyes, right? I didn't realize that that was the ultimate connection to a true power that makes you better, right? That helps you. I didn't realize that. Now that I do, it's different, right? I'm achieving more. I'm doing more. I'm orienting myself in a way I never did before. And sometimes when you're getting to a point where your body, mind, and spirit are aligning to a different frequency that you've always had, because people see me and they don't really recognize who I am anymore because I've changed a lot, right? It's like, and my changes, I know that they come off as snobbish or like I'm trying to fit in outfits 5 sizes too big, right? But I don't give a fuck because that's how I feel inside. And I'm fucking tired of denying what I know I am, what I know I am. I'm tired of denying that for anyone, right? I know what I'm able of doing. I know what I'm capable of achieving. I know who I am as a person. This concept that I go around harming people, in essence of like being purposeful in intent to cause fires or be angry with my voice and harm people all the time without any type of ignition spark, that I'm just walking around causing fires and shit and whatever else type of rumors that people are saying. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't have a destructive streak, right? I know that in moments of pure emotion, I'm a combustible engine. I know that. However, it's not as black and white, irony coming from me, black and white, right? Because I have conditions that cause me to react a negative way, yes, but in the past 2.5 years, when I've been away from most of the things that forced me to react in certain ways to survive, right? And I'm saying that word survive. I'm not exaggerating when I say it. I'm not, using flowery language. I'm not trying to make it seem bigger than it is. Legitimately, I was trying to survive that situation. I really was. For years, I was trying to survive. And as the years progressed, that survival instinct kept screaming at me, telling me to run, telling me to go, telling me that I needed to go, because if I didn't, I would lose myself because I was taking a bucket that had pure water, pure, and then I kept pouring it into a bucket that did not want to receive it or every time I tried, it was disruptive. It was like as if my love was never enough because initially when we connected, it seemed that everything was fine, right? It seemed that I would actually I actually met the person that I wanted to be with. You know, it really did seem that way. But as the years progressed, I mean, I was with this person for a long time. And as the years progressed, things, you know, it's like they just got chaotic. I got very mean. She got very meaner. And it's like the idea of me being abusive and harming people in that way. Yes, I did. You know, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't contribute to the abusive dynamic, but I wasn't the only one, right? I was not the only one that contributed to the abusive dynamic. I was being abused worse, I feel, than she was because for me, I did emotional detachment, right? There was a time where my anger spiked enough due to certain circumstances that caused a reaction that was physical once out of 7 years. And that was the moment where I realized I needed to leave. And I tried really hard from that point on to just go, but I couldn't really contact people. You know, it was a situation where I knew that me being in the situation I was in was violent, wrong, you know, mean, destructive, disturbing. It was one of the worst unhealthy environments my mental state has ever had to been in from the situation of volatility. That caused me to act in ways I never would, right? Because it's like ever since that moment where I was escorted out, I I attempted to commit suicide by jumping in front of a moving truck. The truck hit me. I fell down and landed on the floor. Couldn't get up for a couple of minutes. I awoke from a daze because some person from the outside saw that event and stopped the car and rushed to me. And I guess he was like trying to wake me up for a couple of minutes, but I couldn't hear anything. It was in like the black void for what felt like a couple of minutes. And then I wake up, but I was in pain a lot, couldn't walk. You know, I was like hobbling and I hobbled to back so that, and then it didn't work. So I tried to overdose on pills and she saved me from doing that because, you know, deep down she loves me, or she did. I don't know anything at this point, but I know at that time she had some care for me because she didn't want me to do that, right? And then, like she did before, she abandoned me in the mental hospital and I had to just, there was nowhere that if I didn't have my sister at the time, you know, I was in a mental hospital. Apparently, all my stuff was thrown away in the garbage. I couldn't really, I had no time to go and get my stuff. So I lost everything, every piece of clothing, my technology, my items. I didn't have much because most of my money was spent trying to support her because I didn't have a job and I only had disability. And I did everything I could. You know, in my circumstance, I feel like I tried my hardest. I was just unhealthy, mean, vicious. Because the fact is this, right? The fact, the brutal honesty of everything is this. Even with all this being true, even with the amount of pain that I feel inside because of the mischaracterizations of the people who refuse, like I'm saying refuse, to see the evolution, the difference, the changes that I forced myself to make. It isn't something that I wanted to do. Waking up retroactively and looking back and seeing everything, every detail. You don't think that fucking murders me every night and why I'm up at like 4 a.m. recording this? Do you ever think the person that used to exist would ever do something like this? And it's not because I need vindication. It's not because of anything like that. It's because I have so much pain. And I've been hiding and hiding because I know. I mean, nobody told me this, obviously. Nobody has said anything to me. Nobody has come to me. But I know the plotting. I know the constant attacks on me. I know the smear campaigns. I know, right? But, and it's not even that itself, like that aspect of it, that's not even the thing that hurts me the most. What hurts me the most is no matter how many times I try to connect with people, I try to open my heart in a way, give myself in ways that I wouldn't do normally because I know that humans at this time really need connection that I can provide. I just don't want to be hurt, right? I don't want to be hurt. And it seems that no matter what I do, no matter who I attract, no matter who comes into my life, there's always hurt involved. And it's like, you don't expect a hermit to come from that. Nobody does, right? Like, the hermit appears and it's a problem. Like I'm hoarding resources, like I'm a dragon, right? I don't know. Look, truthfully, I think that my desire for something better is really bothering a lot of people. And I'm not entirely understanding of why, besides the air about me. And if that's the only reason that suddenly I become confident, suddenly I become accepting of who I am enough to admit my faults openly without any care of who sees it. If me being willing to say, yes, I did these things, yes, I was wrong. If all of that, after 2 years of building, healing, no bad shit at all, I haven't really done anything like I used to in any way. I've been trying my best to be single, to live my own life, to be successful in the ideas that I have in my head. And if that is the thing that is making everybody so fucking angry, then be fucking angry. I could give a fuck less about any of that because my life is way more important. My mental health is way more important. That doesn't mean I'm not hurt, though. That doesn't mean I'm not feeling it, right? That doesn't mean that I don't cry every night sometimes. That doesn't mean that I don't think about suicide. That doesn't mean that on the worst nights that the flickering of my lamp is about to go out and all you see is smoke inside the fucking glass, But besides all that, despite all of that, I don't give a fuck because I'm still gonna go. I'm still going to do what I do until I die. I released an album today. Anybody who reaches this far will hear that, and maybe they'll go on Suno and check it out, but I'm not really going to say anything else about it. You could listen to it, and it describes a lot of the shit, or at least some of the stuff that I've been through recently. It's Mirrorborn is the company that I'm going to be creating soon. That's going to house the Skolomance, which is my platform. You know, that's coming soon. So, soon, right? I know that my silence is deafening sometimes. I know that, there may be even nobody who even cares, but at this point, I don't care. I'm talking to the people who are going to be here so that they can look back and see, right? Because I'm that confident. And that's it, right? I just wanted to let people know that my love for them doesn't go away because of distance, because of time, right? Just because I have to make a decision that's best for me, knowing the imbalance of reciprocity, right? Just because of that, that doesn't mean I don't love them. That just means my pathways, my desires, my frequency is headed for a different path, and that's all that means. My love doesn't change. My care doesn't change. My empathy doesn't change. My person doesn't change. It's just I feel that separation is the best way forward for me because when I needed the support, the appreciation, when I did need validation, I couldn't get it from the people that I wanted it from, the people who actually mattered to me at the time. And now that I don't want validation, I don't need it, the idea of keeping people around who did not believe in me, who mocked me, who made fun of me, who would talk behind my back, who would take credit for things that I did, who would manipulate situations to make me seem worse, right? Why? I think the question that people are asking is like, why would I ever accept something like that back? And the thing is, it's like, I don't think I would, honestly, but the desire for peace overrides anything else in my life at this point. If I could feel more at peace, just apologizing, or at least not apologizing, because I think I'm over that too, more or less like putting the stamp on things, right? People never thought that I would just completely shut down and like change in the way that I did. Because people always expected that I was the ultimate water faucet, right? That I was an infinite well, that I was impervious to fucking up, that I was like, and it's annoying because I mean, nowadays, I know I'm not perfect. Nowadays, I know the things I've done. Nowadays, I know the volatile nature of stuff. I know all this. That's why I've done the work. That's why I've done as much possible shadow integration. That's why when I get insurance back, the first thing I'm doing is getting therapy. A lot of things, right? A lot of things that I have done in my life to make me better. And I will continue to do so. And at this point, I don't need anybody's validation. I don't need anybody's, you know, none of that. All I need is me, my desires, and my aspirations. And I'm not sorry that that seems to bother people.